walking down the hall and greeting a friend. And instead of saying, "How are you? How's it going?" you ask, "How's your gut? Is your jaw a little clenched? What's your heart rate?" People might look at you like you're kind of odd, but actually, the soma is a huge contributor to the way that we live our lives. The soma is our internal state. The soma is the embodiment of our mind, body, spirit, emotions, and nervous system. If you asked me what's happening in my soma right now, I'd say, quite honestly, my heart's beating, I'm a little short of breath. If you'll give me pause, I'll check in. Thank you. My talk is about the power of the pause and how moments are the building blocks of a satisfying life. I'd like to try an experiment. Are you up for it? If you'll shut your eyes, imagine yourself racing across campus because you're late for a meeting and you're supposed to present. There's been a room location change and you can't find it. What do you feel? You can open your eyes. Those tense feelings are messages from your soma. Let's try it again. Close your eyes. Imagine you're tipped back on the couch. You've got a newborn baby resting on your chest. Picture the beautiful crinkly fingers and the teeny tiny fingernails, the squeaky breaths, the rosebud lips, the flattering eyelids, the warmth of the baby. What are you feeling? You can open your eyes. Those sensations of peace and serenity are also messages from your soma. We all know that our bodies respond differently to different stimuli. But the concept of somatic awareness is new to me. I've always lived my life with a goal to accomplish, to get things done, to show up, to attend, to participate, to serve, to do. This kind of awareness, it was foreign to me until a couple of years ago. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I'm the ninth child of 10 children. And that 4-bedroom house was a very, very busy place. To get us all out the door was a trick for my parents. So my dad's catchphrase was, "Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on." I became so accustomed to this way of life that I thought the words "come on" were one word. And I just stuck with that pace all through my childhood, and as a teen, I was involved in everything, from sports to theater, to music, to the school plays, and I had all kinds of friends to do things with. I had a small paper route, I had a part-time job. I was in and out all the time. My mother once scolded me. She said, "Nancy, you live your life as if this house is a hotel." And I thought, what's wrong with that? I just come back to eat and sleep. Then my husband Tim and I, we have 5 children, and we continued this lifestyle. And as you can imagine, those 5 children had outnumbered my interests because there's 5 of them. So our lives were like this. Come and go, and every couple of days, I'd say hi, Tim, to my husband, because we were ships in the night. I hate to admit it, once, when we took separate cars to Mass, because we were going to separate games after church, we left our youngest son, Kevin, at church. It's our own Catholic version of Home Alone. At least he was super safe. Then, the refuge for me, this was my cat in the hat slide about missing a kid. Well, there you go, drop a plate, forget a kid, and I did it. But through all of this in my life, running was my refuge, and still is. I've been running since 1985, and I just thought it was the norm that everybody used running as their way to step back, to reflect, to think, to pray, to forgive. My oldest daughter, Katie, reminds me that running hurts most people. But for me, it's my opportunity to take on the perspective of an ornery teenager on a quest for autonomy, or a college student here who's having a hard time with the transition to a new place with unfamiliar faces. Running permits me time to empathize and actually to write. I don't literally write out there, but when I get back to my office or I get back home, I write what I've been thinking about. Running is as essential to me for my life, as an essential element as brushing my teeth or eating a meal. Then, in 2017, I attended a presence-based coaching training based on the brilliant research of Doug Silsby on presence and mindfulness. This whole training changed my life. On the first morning, I was so productive. I was writing in my notes all the things I was going to get done. I had a to-do list like no other, and I had deadlines and projected deadlines, because I was thinking, I'm going to get all this down and mind dump it, and then I'm going to figure out this presence thing. But for right now, I'm staying in my modus operandi, and it worked for me. So I'm diligently writing away, and then the facilitators, Sarah Haley and Bibi Hansen, asked us to put our things down and to sit in our chairs and breathe. I was like, doesn't everybody breathe? I was thinking about the other things I was going to tick off my list. But they then walked us through a series of centering exercises. And I know you've heard this before, but bear with me because it was so powerful. Where we sat in our chairs and were asked to feel our bodies underneath the chairs, the feet underneath the earth, and it was these breathing exercises. And they brought us all to a state of groundedness, and I had a breakthrough. That the clarity that I glean from a 5-mile run can be found in a moment, in a pause. Clarity is found in presence. And presence is the awareness of your internal state in a moment of complete connectedness. Presence can occur by yourself or in relationship with others. And presence is the key to sensing in your soma. If I had asked you to imagine a newborn baby on your lap and you were texting, you wouldn't have the same sensations that you had earlier. This kind of presence is a practice. What you need to do in presence is pause. It's very important that you let yourself feel an emotion. I was always somebody who tried to hide them, not very successfully, but to really feel, where am I feeling this emotion? Is it in my gut? Is there a tightness in my throat? Is my heart pounding? Some people feel it in their back. Our bodies communicate messages to us. Most of us operate from our necks up. We think that our minds lead us, when actually there's a ton of communication that's going on in our bodies. Then when you feel it, you identify, where is this emotion sitting? And you can reflect, what's triggering this? And is this trigger relevant to now, or am I digging something up from my past and bringing it to this situation, and it's not really relevant? And often, too, we can reflect, what is the narrative running in my head? And is there evidence to support this narrative? We can start to think about other perspectives. Is there another way of seeing this? Is there another story here? Is there another perspective? And we can shift towards these new views and choose to respond in a way that's consistent with our values. That's living a life of integrity. And through this process, we all have the capacity to grow, because we all have the capacity to create new neural pathways to ways of perceiving and behaving. There are somatic practices that can help us with this. Somatic practices, include mind-body integration, and they help us with the choice. Some of the choices that we have, for example, if I'm anticipating a really difficult confrontation, I got a tough meeting coming up, and we all know what that feels like, right? Where does it sit? Where do you feel aversion? You can think about that and address it and acknowledge it. But in the shifting to the different perspectives through the practice, we can make a choice in this meeting, regardless of what's said and regardless of the energy that's projected from the other person. We can choose unconditional positive regard for the other over judgment. We can actually choose to be instruments of peace. Another example, when I'm going to meet with a college student, which I meet with college students all the time, with somebody who repeatedly misses class, semester after semester, I can choose compassion over judgment. When I meet with the elderly, and they tell me the same story over and over again, in the same voice, with the same intonation, I have the choice to choose kindness over irritability. How about that? We can also choose forgiveness over animosity, no matter how much we've been hurt. And that is not a snap reaction, that's a process. This presence is a discipline towards self-mastery. Some are not aware of somatic responses in their bodies. There are many, and you may know people like this, who they let urges such as lashing out or shutting down be their norm, be their behaviors. But urges don't control our lives. Habits don't control our lives. We do. We have the capacity to always choose growth over stagnancy. We can create new neural pathways to being. In 1998, Valpo advanced to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA basketball tournament. Maybe some of you remember this. Maybe you feel it in your soma, right? Bryce Drew sunk a buzzer beater shot in the first round so that Valpo advanced over Ole Miss. This town went wild, as did the university. A journalist asked Bryce Drew what he was thinking when he missed the previous shot to the game-winning basket. And Bryce Drew responded, "I thanked God for the opportunity, and I asked for another one." Bryce Drew chose gratitude over regret. He chose hope over remorse. We always have a choice. There are somatic exercises that can help us in making the choice. Somatic exercises have a purpose. They're designed to remind us of how we want to show up in the world. For example, when I have an important meeting, I can do a centering exercise so that I ensure that I show up as a strong campus leader and learner. I can do breath work when I'm experiencing stress, grief, or suffering. I can touch my heart. I know touching your heart reminds you of things, of how you want to show up. For me, touching my heart reminds me that I want to be a better friend. I want to be a better listener. I want to be a better servant. Somatic awareness leads to moments that lead to choice, and choice leads to growth. We get to choose. We make all kinds of mistakes. We don't always get it right. I know I don't, and there's grace in that. The gift of attention to yourself is transformative for you and for everybody in your life. So my hope is that you embrace this gift. It sits within you. Now, if you'll shut your eyes one last time, I want you to imagine yourself pulling into a parking spot. You've got a really important appointment. You put the car in park, you grab your drink, and you spill it all over your phone. I want you to pause. I want you to forgive yourself and learn from it. You can open your eyes. Thank you.